You wanted playoff baseball? You've got it. In September. If the Guardians get to October, I hope we all have enough hair and heartburn medication left.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in. It's a winning Wednesday episode of Locked On Guardians, our favorite half hour of the day. We hope it's yours too, because for the next half hour, we're talking about your comeback cardiac Cleveland Guardians here on the Locked On Podcast Network. The Locked On Guardians, your team, your Cleveland Guardians, every single day, from the majors, the minors, the draft, everything in between. I'm Justin Lada, celebrating 3 years on this podcast with my friend and co-host Jeff Ellis and the Locked On Podcast Network. And I've also been covering the Cleveland Guardians minor league system, providing scouting reports and prospect analysis since 2007.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Jeff Ellis. This is the Rally Dinosaur over here. Decided to feature it fully. As you mentioned, I've been here since Locked On expanded into baseball way back in the day. All 1,500 plus episodes. Before that, I was a national writer at Scout and 24/7 focused on prospects in the draft. I want to thank each one of our everydayers for joining us every single day, even if none of you got my reference yesterday. Not one comment on it. So I'll just save it. Send them to Detroit. No one got it. So we'll keep that in the back. But I want to thank you for making today's episode your first listen today and every day, wherever it is that you get podcasts.
Yes, and we've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be having a lot to talk about all week as the season wraps up. We'll do some scoreboard watching. We'll try to do some playoff math. I'll let Jeff handle the math because we know how I am about math. We'll talk about standout performances from the Guardians game 1 against the Tigers. But we'll start off talking about how our neighbors and our wives and maybe other significant others all hate us for how that game ended on Tuesday night in Detroit. Before we get there, of course, today's episode of Locked On Guardians made possible by our friends over at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $20 off your first purchase. You might want to use that for some tickets to that Tiger series next week when the Guardians come home. Do your neighbors hate you? Has your heart rate gone down? I am thankful that I don't have another doctor's appointment until November because I had to take blood pressure meds, and if I had to go to the doctor tomorrow or today or sometime in the next week or 2 weeks, my doctor would yell at me for my blood pressure because that's where we are right now. I am sick of Kerry Carpenter against Guardians closers, I will say, but thank God Angel Martinez can't bunt, right?
Yes.
I guess that's the takeaway, right?
You and I were like,
yeah.
Why are you even pitching to Carpenter? Like, that was the thing. I know you want to go after, but it's like that. There's one guy right now in that lineup who's scary. Why even bother? Why? Like,
you could have gone to Glaber next batter. Who
Go
already
Glaber.
had a home run on the night, by the way.
I know.
Still.
But it's Kerry Carpenter's not the guy you want to. The same way a few years ago when Jose beat the Tigers. It's like, why wouldn't you? The one guy you got to worry about. In Detroit, yes, they've had a lot of guys who played well this year, but it's Kerry Carpenter, and then it's everyone else in the second half.
Yeah, Kerry Carpenter is the Guardians' torture, especially when it comes to the bullpen, right? You know, we thought we were rid of this problem when Clase. I mean, that's the one thing you're glad is Clase's gone. But you and I were texting, you're like, man, this is a game where you really miss Clase because they had to force in
Tim Herrin.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tim Herrin in the second segment, I think, but that's a game where you miss Clase because we were texting back and forth. It's like, all right, how do you handle the 8th inning? Because you already got Gaddis here in the 7th, and are you going to splice it together? And are you going to ask Gaddis and Cade to split the 8th and 9th? And that's just really hard to do, as we talked about in the show before. But that extra innings, like they scored enough runs to have the lead in the bottom of the 9th inning, and then they decided, you know what, that's not enough. I think what Cade Smith was doing was, you know, he said, we're trying to run down a playoff spot, but I also want to erase our run differential. So I don't want to win a 1-run game now, and only that being 2 because of how things happen in the 10th. But he was trying to help them erase their run differential.
I thought he just wanted more wins. I thought he was just being selfish and trying to get more.
Oh,
wins.
he was vulturing. That's right.
He was trying to vulture a win. He did.
He did get the win. You know, I mean, I guess would the save be more profitable for him in arbitration, or is it the win? I suppose it's probably the save.
It is the same.
Relief wins don't play well or don't pay as well in arbitration. But I can't overstate the resilience of this team. If you're not having fun, like I get it. It's been a frustrating season. It was a frustrating off season, but you know what? We can't do anything about that going back that far. The off season happened. I'm not going to rehash all that. The season has happened, and we're here watching Guardians baseball. They're 8 games above 500, which is tied for the high watermark of them for the season. And they are still running down a playoff spot after all this happened. I know we keep saying that day after day, but I mean, I told my wife, I got to be honest here. I know I'm going to sound terrible for saying this, but I told my wife when Kerry Carpenter the home run, I said, oh, she wanted to stay up to watch the end of the game. She goes to bed early because she's also a teacher. And I said, you can go to bed. The Guardians, if they score a run in the 10th inning, I don't think they're going to be able to hold the Tigers to a runs. And I was right. Technically, I was right. The Tigers did score 2 runs, and they would have won that game in the 10th had the Guardians' offense not exploded in the 10th inning. So
4 extra base hits in a row.
I just didn't think that even, we were texting about not going to Herrin in the 8th inning. I said, even though it's not a good matchup, like I trust Jake Junis more, and Jake Junis ended up being the guy who's a 2-run homer in the 10th inning, but ironically enough, but I just didn't think after Cade hit the home run, I was like, they're not going to be able to hold off Detroit in extra innings because, as the road team, you have to score at least 2 runs, and turns out the Guardians needed 3, they got 4. But I told her, I was like, yeah, this is probably in hand for Detroit after this. But hey, never count the Guardians out. Goonies never say die. Guardians never say die.
No, it was a stressful, exciting game throughout. It was the playoff atmosphere, and there's so many moments that we'll have to discuss. So many, the 10th, the 9th, like I said, Herrin's performance is probably his best performance of the year. As well as just all the big defensive plays that occurred and big moments. And this was a tight game.
It had everything. It had everything.
But yeah, it was one of those games at the end where if you're a Guardians fan, you can't help but feel good. Because not only, Cleveland had the blown save, and that's the 5th for Cade Smith. So he's blowing 1 out of every 4 saves, which is not what you want to see. 25% blown. 1 out of 5 would be 25%. No. 20% blown rate. But either way, it's like then to come back and just gut punch the Tigers the way they did, that's huge. And, we'll have to talk about later in the show too, but just like how that sets them up for the rest of this series.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I got to ask too, because the vision that went through my mind as that game came down to the wire, Tim Herrin coming in, Cade Smith, Kerry Carpenter home run, the comeback in the 10th inning to take the lead. You know what flashed through my mind that entire 45-minute run, half-hour run? It was Lou Brown in Major League 2 dancing on the hospital bed with the radio piece in his ear, and he's watching.
I love something.
He's like, are you kidding? I love this. You know what? Things we can't say. And it was some British tea show, tea time. R.I.P. James Gammon. What a performance! That was me, and that was what was going through my mind. I was like, oh, I don't trust Tim Herrin. Oh, Tim Herrin did great. Cade Smithson, we're gonna be fine. Kerry Carpenter, it was up, down. More zigs and zags at the end than a Cedar Point roller coaster.
For me, the movie reference that came in that I cannot completely complete is people comment what movie this is from below. You're excited? Well, feel these somethings. And Bob Costas is the speaker of that one. So that's what came to mind for me. We definitely because
that reference.
It felt like for once, Justin. It's the first time Justin has ever gotten one of my references in the history of the show.
I've seen that movie no less than 1,000 times.
I own it. I 100% own it. And it's tied to yesterday's reference because they're both Zucker brothers.
Oh, written. I didn't realize that.
So yep.
Interesting.
But to get back to the game, it felt like a movie, right? That's why I keep making movie references.
It was a playoff game. It was literally
a playoff game, but it's just also the ups and downs, and it felt like this could have been the end of a major league movie, like the gut punch where you think, and then the heroes rise back up again and steal victory.
Except Jake Taylor got the butt down, Angel Martinez didn't, and it still worked out in their favor.
Worked out better.
Don't bunt, hit triples instead. That's more fun. All right, we will talk about some of these standout performances on both sides of the ball, including 2 players up the middle who everybody has been very critical of this year, on the next edition or the next segment here on Locked On Guardians.
But first, this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cash in. Many of you out there say that I think I'm always right. I got to let you know I do not think that's the case. But if it was the case, I should be spending my time on PrizePicks. With football back, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get on the action. Just pick more or less. Simple as that. More or less. I think everyone can handle it. I'll try it with my 4-year-old. I'll see if he can handle it. On 2 to 6 player projections, and you could turn your takes into real prices all in less than 60 seconds. And my favorite thing is they have max discounts, which for this week is Patrick Mahomes getting half a passing yard. So more or less than that. And then you just need one other win, right? It's 2 to 6 stat categories. So that is giving you a win right there. Halfway to the win, I should say. Download the PrizePicks app. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.
It sure is. It's good to be right, and it's good to be winners, of course, as the Guardians were a 3-1, a 7-5 winner over the Detroit Tigers on Tuesday to start that series. The nice thing is, what the Guardians did, at the very least, is they assured the Tigers cannot win the division against the Guardians on Thursday in Detroit. You don't want them celebrating in front of you, but of course you want to do better than that. You want to win this series, which they, only need to win one more game. Now, this is one of the games. Jeff, I don't know how many times this year we've had a hard time, or at least you've had a hard time going through and picking out your 3 stars of the game. But this is a game legitimately that I think was very hard, because you could make a case for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different guys could have had 3 stars by my count. Like, I think that's the most I can remember.
I think in the end I had 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I had 7 guys that I was really considering for it this year. Maybe 8. I think 8 is kind of where, but I'll say that of that 8, one of the guys I'm not counting is Nolan Jones, who at one point I thought, after his double to set up Kafis' single, and after his throw to first, which I still think or throw to second, which I still think he might have gotten him out.
I think he was out.
There's a better camera angle there. Why was the camera angle so dang grainy? That's what I want to know. Stop cheaping out, Detroit. Get real cameras.
Well, hey, they're not on. Their games aren't produced by Major League Baseball. The Guardians are. So
yeah,
there you go.
But it's one of those things, like, you had so many players stepping up at various times. Really the only players who were in there the full time. And I feel like one of them, Rocchio, but didn't Rocchio have a good defensive moment in this one as well? Even though he's in like an 0 for 18 now, maybe. Like, he is expanding the zone. He's doing all the things he stopped doing when he came up. He's starting to, he's definitely a player who starts pressing, and that's what we're seeing with him. Yeah. But like, outside of him, I guess Schneemann was 0 for 3, but he had that nice catch on the run in center field with Cantillo in one of those innings. So like, even he had a moment that stands out for me. But yeah, it's those 2 up the middle players. Do you want to start with Bo, or do you want to start with Gabby?
I'm probably going to start with Bo, because Bo got them the lead. They came right back, I think, after they Joey had given up the run. Bo put them right back on. So it was 1-1, and then Bo had the double in the 4th inning that scored the run, right? That was when that happened, and that was really good to see, because you had just given the lead back, or not the lead, but
no, the Gabby home run was in the 4th. Bo's was
that was the 4th. Okay,
Bo's was the insurance.
That's right. Okay, so I guess we start with Gabby then, because Gabby had the error early in the game, and then he makes that very strange decision.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, he dropped that pop up, and I did not know at the time it was intentional, and that was another moment where my neighbors probably like, what the heck is going on? And it so happens my next door neighbors are also Detroit Tigers fans, because they're from Detroit, so that's even funnier.
For those who don't know why he dropped it, just you might be like, what, he dropped it? Because like, if you weren't paying attention, he looks over to see where the runner is, and the reason that's the ball drop is because in terms of sprint speed, Giovanni Jones is 70th percentile in baseball. Gleyber Torres is 38th, or was it 28th? I can't remember. Either way,
was pretty low.
It was pretty significant. It ended up not being a huge moment overall in the game. Outside of it was weird, and I've never seen that before. But like, it's a smart decision, and that throw, like Quan makes quite a few great. Like Quan was probably my 4-star in this game. I gotta be honest, because he makes like the great play on the hit off of Gaddis, and he gets to that ball and he throws it, but he overthrows it slightly. So what makes that throw by Gabby even better is he like leaps, gets it, turn around, and hits it on a bounce to get the runner at home. Yes, that is the guy who was only on base due to his error, so he kind of balanced the scales. But he also had the home run to give him back the lead, and then he had the fourth run in the 10th inning. So
the 10th inning, right? Yeah,
it was a big performance by Gabby. Opposite field, of course, for him with home runs. I wish he was not the K master because he is like, I think he might have the worst chase rate in baseball right now. But when he gets into it, he can still do some nice things. And Bo Naylor's doing a little something every game for a guy who spent most of the year being a walking corpse as in the batter's box and not blocking as well of a year ago. This last week, he's come up huge again and again. And hopefully this is positive momentum. Hopefully it's a step forward. But what I got to see is him do it more than like 2 weeks. We've seen these 2-week stretches. I will take a 2-week stretch because that's all there's left of the season, right? But like, I would love to see the promise of that guy from the second half of his rookie year. Because if we can ever get back to that, then this lineup is transformed.
I know. I saw a couple people who were like, "Oh, Naylor's hitting 5th. Why is he hitting 5th?" And I was like, "He's been hitting 5th," and which doesn't make any sense because it's not like he's had a good year. But yeah, I mean, we've seen these stretches from Bo Naylor before offensively. The nice thing he's walking. He's not chasing out of the zone. He's not swinging and missing. It's just he's not really coming up with hits. He doesn't hit the ball hard, which is crazy. And all the stuff that you want him to do. The only thing he really does well is framing. But you said his framing's taken a hit.
He's not framing this year. Yeah,
it's been worse down this year. He's still okay at it, but he's down. Blocking has come a long way for him this year, which is interesting.
His throwing he's actually, it seems like he might be sitting more upright to try to throw guys out. So his throwing numbers are up, but he's actually, there's 8%. I talked about this on my solo show. He has 8% lower strike rate in the shadow of the zone. So it's like he is just, and that like I said, that's one of my theories on some of Tanner's issues this year and why he's not getting so many Ks is because Bo was able to steal a few more last year as opposed to this year.
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen these stretches from Bo before, and he's had a good couple of days here. He had the home run on Don't Look Now, by the way. The Rangers are coming back on the Astros.
I'll take that. I want that to come back.
We'll talk about that in the next segment. But yeah, Bo Naylor, I'm not going to buy in and be like, all right, Bo Naylor, he's finally who we thought he was. He's finally going to get there because we have seen this before. But you're right. You take a 2-week stretch. I'll take anything from him right now. I'll take anybody doing anything at this point. I mean. Again, Angel Martinez had 1 hit in this game and ends up being an RBI triple that mattered. I mean, I had him counted down as one of the stars of the game because you don't really get where you are without him missing that bunt because that would have played for 1 more run and you wouldn't have had enough runs. But everybody just kind of exploded that inning, and it was just really fun. But yeah, Bo Naylor had the huge recovery to throw. I know Spencer Torkelson's not a great runner, but he had a good recovery to throw him out at second base, and I thought he had a good game tonight with Joey Cantillo. I mean, we haven't really mentioned Joey Cantillo. Wasn't as sharp as he's been, but I think this is a big step forward for Joey Cantillo because this is a lineup that crushes lefties, and these kind of performances in the past where Cantillo gets hit hard and has a hard time controlling his stuff is a game where he ends up imploding and coming out earlier than he did. I know he only went 5, and you would have liked him to go a little bit longer, but again, like Gavin Williams in the past, where he has a really tough start to the game, Joey Cantillo has had bad starts before or had things unravel on him early, and it blew up the entire game. And in this one, he didn't let it happen. He got them too. And I think that's a huge sign of growth from Joey Cantillo, not having your best control and still managing to help your team. He deserved the win tonight, for sure. He did enough, and that's a big sign of growth from Joey Cantillo, even if it's not like a great performance.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this today very briefly, that like his performance of late is so good that even though they know that this is a team that crushes lefties, they decide to have him go and not Allen. Like it kind of speaks to not just where he's at, but like the team's confidence in him right now. And anytime you go 5 innings and give up 1 run, even if it was shaky at points, like that's a success.
Especially against this team.
Yes.
In this situation on the road in a huge series, they knew exactly what they needed. I mean, all the pressure, I got to be honest. I know you could say the Guardians are playing with or without pressure. I think all the pressure is on the Guardians right now, and they're responding. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about that. We'll talk about some scoreboard watching and math. We'll talk about who needs to help the Guardians out as we look at the rest of this week and weekend on the rest of today's Locked On Guardians. Speaking of help, we all need help managing our finances. I know I do. Most people, myself included, cannot name all of our financial accounts, what we're worth, whether that comes down to 401ks, properties, investments. And if you don't have the full picture, you can leave a lot of money on the table, and that is not a good thing in today's day and age for any of us, especially if you're around mine or Jeff's age. And that is where Monarch Money comes in. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together. And the best part about it to me is it's one easy-to-use interface. You don't got to go through different apps. You don't got to go to different spreadsheets. It's on your laptop or your phone. It's one app. It's going to help you get organized, does all the heavy lifting for you. And it's going to help you feel more in control of your money, whether you're just trying to make your budget, whether you're trying to save for home renovation, whether you want to save for vacation. Shockingly, Christmas isn't far off. I know it's crazy to say, but there's all kinds of things you want to do, I want to do with our money, all about the future. So don't let any financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use Locked On MLB as your code at monarchmoney.com. Just get half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code Locked On MLB. And hey, speaking of saving money, we know that you're going to want to buy some playoff tickets. You're going to want to buy some tickets to the Tigers Guardians series next week in Cleveland and be a part of the energy in the crowd as the Guardians try to run down a playoff chase. And Game Time is going to help you do that and take all the bad parts out of buying tickets away from you. It gives the advantage back to fans like us because it's backed by the Game Time guarantee. You get 100% authentic tickets. You get the best prices. You can wait till the last minute to decide when you're going to go, if you can go, if the weather's good, all that kind of stuff. And all the fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. How about that for a change? That's a great concept, if you ask me. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Thank you all for being here with us on Locked On Guardians every day. We love being part of your routine. And if you're not an everydayer, we love our everydayers, we love our insiders, all that stuff. But if you want to be part of that, make sure you're hitting the bell on YouTube for all kinds of reaction videos to each game, episodes. There will be Squad Show, which is coming this Friday, of course, and auto download on audio so you never miss an episode. And check out the Insiders group. As we talked about yesterday, too, join subtext.com/LockedOnGuardians. You also get to get information ahead of time, like the pitching rotation and how it lined up this week, and chatting with us during exciting games when stuff like this goes on. That's all part of that as well. All right. Any final thoughts on this game, or should we go right into scoreboard watching?
The
bullpen for the Tigers is burned a little bit for Wednesday. No,
two things. It is burned, and they have the 5th worst bullpen by FIP in the second half. They have a negative WAR for their bullpen FIP in the second half. They're 2 games under 500 in the second half. Cleveland, by the way, has the 3rd most wins in the second half. Some random stuff. And again, I just want to go back to Tim Herrin. I feel like we didn't quite give him all of his time.
We did not. You're right.
It's, he's one of the 3 stars because after Gaddis, gives up the single that would have been a double if not for how well Stephen Kwan played it. He kind of hung a pitch, but he crossed up. Was that Riley Green there? He had to face some dangerous hitters. And you and I were both like, oh gosh, why? It's over. And he had his best performance. It looked like Tim Herrin of a year ago when he was, the 4th Beatle. I know there were 4 Beatles, but you had your big 3 a year ago and he was the 4th guy. And he looked more like this guy, at least in performance. His stuff wasn't always the best, but he took care of business. He got it done. I think it's the heart of that lineup. And he also, for good or bad, kept Kerry Carpenter out of it a little bit longer by bringing him in as well.
Yeah, well, that won't be the case against Gavin Williams on Wednesday, so hopefully we'll have to neutralize him. But they're not as good against righties as they are against lefties, which is shocking considering the bulk of their lineup is against righties. Kerry Carpenter and Riley Green, and Colt Keith has been a little bit better lately. So, yeah, Tim Herrin. If you get 2024 Tim Herrin back somehow the rest of the season, that would be mammoth because they just don't have any lefties right now. Like Eric Zabrowski's been rough, and because the guys you trust are essentially Festa, Smith, and Gaddis. If you can get Herrin back, I know Festa wasn't great, but it is what it is.
First run since August. You'll take it.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest night. Okay, so as we're recording this, it is 6-5. Astros in the top of the 8th inning. The Rangers have scored 4 runs to come back off of old friend Enyel De Los Santos and the rest of the Astros bullpen trying to finish this one off. 2 outs and 2 on. We'll talk a little bit about who needs to help the Guardians out. So the Red Sox lost on Tuesday to the Athletics. Not really a surprise because the Athletics can be dangerous. They're one of the better teams in baseball this
About
half.
500 in the second half.
Yeah, so not really a shock that happened. Here's the problem with that. The Guardians don't necessarily want Boston to compete with for the third wild card because they have a tiebreaker with the Astros. So if the Guardians and Astros end the season tied with the same record and they both are in that third wild card spot or even the second, I don't know. I guess technically you're chasing the second because as of this moment, we're talking Boston and Houston are tied. If Houston finds a way to win, they hold on, they take control of the second wild card, whereas the Red Sox fall into third. The Guardians and Astros, the Guardians have the tiebreaker because of the season series. The Red Sox have the tiebreaker against the Guardians. There is no game 163 anymore. So I guess we're kind of rooting for Boston to win just so you have a tiebreaker. And Houston...
No, just root for them to lose, everyone. We're rooting for everyone to lose because that helps you out.
Well, Houston and Seattle play next too, and that's going to be kind of hard to. Who are you rooting for there?
Seattle,
right?
Clearly. Houston isn't.
Yeah,
you're not catching
right.
Seattle. Houston, you got the tiebreaker with. You don't have with Houston. You're rooting against Houston every single day, which should be easy.
Yeah.
It's a very easy team to not like just with their past history. So you're rooting.
They
against
do have
Houston.
a difficult schedule. They do have the Rangers, who are not going away. They do have the Mariners, who hopefully can beat them up next week. Then they go to Sacramento to face the Athletics, who are tough in Sacramento. So, and by the way, the Astros just lost Yordan Alvarez for at least the balance of the regular season. And pitching's been kind of rough for them too. So root against Houston every single day. You want to. That's the team you want to be competing for with the third wild card due to schedule, who they're facing, and the fact that you have the tiebreaker. Boston, though, I will tell you, Jeff, does have a tough schedule to end the year. They're playing the Athletics right now. They go to Tampa after this, which is a hard place to play. And Tampa's, not a pushover, even though they've struggled a little bit. They play Toronto. Yeah, they play Toronto on the road, who will pretty much be close to clinching the division up there, which is crazy to say. And then they have to finish the year against the Tigers at home against Detroit, or at home. So they're going to have a lot to play for at the end of the season. And I don't know if Detroit will or won't. We'll see what the Guardians do the next couple of days against them and in next week. So I don't know. Things get dicey with Boston. We either need the Guardians either need Boston to kick this and stay in second wild card spot.
You want Boston to lose. You want Boston to lose because even right now you're in a situation. Here's the thing: you're rooting against Houston no matter what. They're the number one team you're rooting to lose. Number two, you're rooting against. You're actually rooting against Boston because they have a harder schedule. Even though you don't have the tiebreaker with them, I would argue that seeing them fall apart helps because there's also a chance that there's a world where Cleveland could end up getting the number 2 wild card spot.
There is,
yeah. So it's like, and 3, root against Texas every time they're not facing Houston. So those are the 3 teams because I think Seattle's out of touch. But those 3 teams, scoreboard watch every day, root against because you're just trying to improve your odds. And if Boston has been falling apart since they lost to Roman Anthony. So it gives you more draws. It gives you more outs at the river, right? Isn't that a poker thing back in the day? Like you're just looking for having the maximizing your opportunities, which means having Boston stink as well. And Boston isn't going to compete against the other 2. So you're rooting for Seattle, and no matter what, you're rooting against Houston, then Texas, and probably then Texas, then Boston. But all 3, root for them to lose every day.
Yeah, you want them to lose pretty much the rest of the way and make that last series against the Rangers meaningless for the Rangers and make it easier for you to win against a team that has something to play for the last weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. And the Guardians have, what do we say, 12 games left now after starting today?
Yes. Yep. Today was game 150.
So, yeah, starting on Wednesday, it'll be 12 games left. If I had to guess, I think the Guardians probably have to go, 9-3 the rest
That
of
was
the
my
way.
thought.
So,
My thought was 9-3 as
yeah,
well.
I think it has to be 9-3. That puts you at 87 and 74. Is that what that is? Yeah, 87 and 74. I think that's what it takes to get in. I don't think 85 or 86 wins cut it. That's going to be tough. Make no mistake, it's going to be tough to do that. Like, they're already on the best run they've had this season. They're 11-4 in September, and to win 9 more games would put them at 20 wins for the month. That's very hard to do. That would be 2013-esque. I'll take it. But it's going to be very tough. But hey, at least it's interesting. You got Gavin Williams, and like I said, the Tigers bullpen should be a little bit burned tonight. The Guardians bullpen will be a little bit burned too. Like, Festa probably can go again if you want him to. Sobrowski could. I think Gaddis is out. I think Herrin's out. Smith might be out. I don't know. I guess maybe Smith can go with the off day. He usually is pretty good. So Gavin Williams needs a big performance against the Rangers on Wednesday night, I think.
Yeah, and
to keep the bullpen out of it.
Real quickly here at the end, just want to throw this out there. Tomorrow is Jose Ramirez's birthday.
Today.
Today. So if you're listening today, sorry, as we're recording, it's tomorrow. But he is the 6th best hitter on his birthday. He is 2-0 against the Tigers on his birthday. He had a game winner in 2016. Was that what it was? Yeah, and then 2020 he had a 2 home run game. So he has done very well against the Tigers on his birthday. So we have to comment. Sarah Langs has talked about this. Was it Birthdays Matters, her thing, the great Sarah Langs. Yeah. So Jose Ramirez is one of the poster kids for fantastic. It goes Jock Peterson, Andrew Benintendi, Jeff McNeil, Freddie Freeman, Kike Hernandez, Jose Ramirez. Next up is some dude named Mike Trout. Not sure who he is.
So that's all active birthdays. Okay.
Yes, it's all active, but he has been fantastic in that role. So, you're expecting Jose to have a big day tomorrow. We'll have to see that.
Guardians are 6-3 on Jose Ramirez's birthday. They lost last year to the Twins, but before that, they had won 3 straight years on his 3 straight games on his birthday. So, birthday win for Jose Ramirez. Let's hope for a home run. Normally kills Detroit. Did not have a great game off Casey Mize in this one. But, we'll see how he does against Jack Flaherty. The Guardians could use it from him. So, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk more about Guardians Tigers Game 2. Jose Ramirez's birthday. We'll do more scoreboard watching, and we'll touch on the weekend rotation. Things are setting up interesting in Minnesota as well.
Yep. Thank you for joining us. Remember to rate and review, download daily. It helps. Do your part. We are 180 from 5,000, so get more people to subscribe on YouTube. Yeah. Help us out, and go Guardians, go.